Hello, I hope you're ready for Chapter 7 of Sam Wu is Not Afraid of Spiders by Katie and Kevin Tsang. Chapter 7, Spider Queen. The tunnel through the bushes was small, and branches and thorns scratched my arms as we chased after Lucy. Lucy is smaller than us, and the tunnel seemed perfectly shaped for her. "Almost there," she called out over her shoulder. "Are we still even in your back garden?" Bernard asked me from behind. He was breathing heavily. "And do you know how far it goes?" "I don't know," I said, and then I suddenly remembered Bernard didn't really like small spaces. "Don't worry," I said, as authoritatively as I could. "We've got to be there soon." Then, just as I had replied, the tunnel ended, opening into a small dome-shaped clearing, edged entirely with bushes all around and above us. There was enough space for Lucy to stand, but the rest of us had to crouch or sit. "Welcome to my spider court," said Lucy, picking up a crown made of leaves and twigs and putting it on her head. We just stared. Strung along all the branches and just above our heads were dozens of glistening spider webs. Zoe crept backwards till she was in the small tunnel we had come from. "I was not expecting this," she said. "How did you find this?" I whispered as my eyes adjusted to the dim light in the clearing. I could see hundreds of spiders crawling all over the bushes. Lucy shrugged. "I was just exploring one day, and then Butterbutt disappeared into the bushes. So I followed him, and then I found this spot, and it was covered in spiders. So I decided to become their queen," she said. She held out a finger to one of the webs, and a small black spider crawled onto her hand. "This one is Itsy," she said. "You know, like the song, Itsy Bitsy Spider." Then she grinned at us. "I call most of them Itsy," she admitted. "Sometimes it's hard to tell them apart." And there you go, in their clearing with all the spiders. But don't they ever bite you?" I said, swatting over my shoulder. I was sure spiders were going to pounce on me from any direction at any second. I wished that I had 8 eyes like the spiders so I could be absolutely certain they weren't about to jump on me. And it wasn't just me. Zoe was still hovering around the tunnel entrance like she was ready to make a quick escape. This was actually very wise. Bernard still hadn't said a word. He just stared all around him with huge eyes. Lucy shrugged again. "You get mosquito bites, don't you? It's the same thing." "But Lucy," I said, "some spiders are poisonous." "None of my spiders are," she said confidently, putting Itsy back on a branch. "You can't even tell them apart," I spluttered. "How do you know none of them are poisonous?" "I know black widow spiders have a red marking on them, and none of my spiders have that," said Lucy. "And all the really poisonous spiders live in Australia." Then she sighed. "Besides, if I thought a spider was going to bite me, I'd just squash it." Zoe looked like she might throw up. Then Butterbutt came bounding in. With a leap, he tore down one of the webs and caught one spider with his paw and one in his mouth. "Butterbutt," said Lucy, going over and scooping him up, not even caring about the spider webs getting all over her. "That isn't very nice," she scolded. But she didn't seem too bothered that she'd just lost 2 of her spider subjects. "Butterbutt is great at catching spiders," said Lucy. "I'm just trying to teach him how to catch and release, instead of catch and eat." That was when the idea hit me. It was like Captain Jane says, inspiration can strike at any time. Although, I guess it did kind of make sense for me to get an idea on how to catch a spider while sitting in a spider den. Lucy, I said, do you think Butterbutt would be able to find the missing tarantula at school? Butterbutt's a cat, not a bloodhound, said Zoe. But we know he's good at finding things, I said. How do we know that Butterbutt wouldn't, accidentally try to eat Tulip? Said Bernard. You heard what Lucy just said. She's trying to teach him to catch and release, not catch and eat. Tulip is too big for Butterbutt to swallow in one bite, I said. If we stayed close, we could pull Butterbutt away from him before he did any harm. What about the damage Tulip could do to Butterbutt? Said Zoe. Who's Tulip? Asked Lucy, looking confused. She clutched Butterbutt to her chest. I don't want Butterbutt to do anything dangerous. Tulip is the missing giant tarantula, I said. As long as Tulip doesn't bite Butterbutt, he'll be okay. That won't be the only thing we have to worry about, said Bernard, making his extra serious face. I've read that tarantulas can release a shower of tiny spiky hairs into the air. We don't want Butterbutt to get in the way of those. I looked at Butterbutt. Butterbutt looked back at me. I felt like maybe he could understand how important this was. Butterbutt is surprisingly smart for a cat, I said. He'd know to run away if Tulip started to attack like that. I know, said Lucy. I bet there are videos online of tarantulas attacking. We can show them to Butterbutt so he knows what to do. Lucy, Butterbutt isn't that smart, I said, frowning. He's still just a cat. You're the one suggesting that Butterbutt can somehow find the spider, muttered Zoe. Butterbutt is a very smart cat, said Lucy, reaching out and grabbing Butterbutt from me. She held him protectively. Lucy might have a point, said Bernard. Not that Butterbutt should watch the videos, but we should, so we know what to do. I turned to Zoe. Zoe, you're the fastest person in our grade. Do you think you could keep up with Butterbutt? Zoe nodded. But I don't want to get anywhere near Tulip, she said. She shuddered. I think I'm allergic to spiders, especially ones that can send their spiky hairs into the air. That's okay, I said. We'll be right behind you. We just need to make sure we don't lose Butterbutt. I looked at the cat, and I've got the perfect idea to make sure that Butterbutt doesn't get bitten. Great, said Zoe. Now that we've got a plan, can we get out of here? I feel like I've got spiders crawling all over me. You probably have, said Lucy, but don't worry. They're easy to brush off and they almost never bite. The end. Now, what do you think? Do you think their plan involving Butterbutt is going to work? Is it going to help them find the spider? Or not? Is it going to make it worse? We will find out in chapter 8.